Top left-hand side, our blue Terran player is going to be ByuN from the Shopify Rebellion, taking on the bottom right, red Protoss. This is Stats. Okay, we're going down. Probe coming up. And Barracks and SCV are still coming through as well as we get things settled in here for a couple of moments. Gonna get ourselves up and running. Racks and the gas coming through. The SCV is producing on in as well. Okay, wait. That probe. Again, bit of everything just coming through for the moment as we get ourselves the gateway at the front as well. Also just coming online. So again, get that up and into play. As we hear our Racks again sitting at the front as well. So nothing too wild in the very first couple of moments as we get settled in. And look to see just where it is that things are gonna turn out for this TvP low bracket matchup here in the Stars War 11 qualifier. Actually a fun ByuN versus Stats series the other day in the ESL Open Cup Korea. Stats won that one 2-1. End up coming up, just going to be Chrono Boosting along. There's going to be Citadel Nexus on the way in as well. Continue to bring that out just for the moment. Just going to be having ourselves the factory and the reactor continue to come into play. So, Chrono Boosting along, Twilight Council coming about for a couple of moments. We have ourselves a starport, Hellions, a bit of everything going through. And then our starport coming up, our Twilight Council will finish in a couple of moments. Get that all wrapped up here and get into our a little bit of pressure as we go for Hellions. That means ByuN absolutely wants to be dropping across the map. He absolutely wants to be going to try and get something done. So ByuN is going to get himself busy. The Hellions, though, are going to get called. One Adept will go down soon, but we already saw one Hellion drop. And now the second Hellion is hurting. The Adept gets in as well, so the Adept's going to have full information here. As it shades through into the back of this main base, going to force the Hellions to come back and chase it, which is just going to buy even more time. And again, with one Hellion down, and the other Hellions hit, we're going to have to stop and repair those. It's a real dampener on the kind of game plan of ByuN. Feels like this is going to just be everything kind of taking a moment to step back a little bit. Stalker still Chrono Boosting out for a couple of moments. We got ourselves the Blink coming up, the Robo Facility coming in as well. So all of that continues through. It's going to be having this medevac coming over. A few Hellions then will drop. And they're low HP, never even repaired them. That means you just can't commit because obviously you're like one tap away from losing a Hellion. Then you lose one-shot potential. The moment you lose one-shot potential is the moment that this is already a disaster. Because then the Hellions are just never going to be as effective as they should be. So you just can't do enough there. So that means that ByuN can't really commit to this. The Hellions in the medevac are going to go elsewhere. And we're going to move on to other things. Coming up, the barracks still coming through. And medevac coming across with a few Hellions inside, still just looking for an open. I mean, if you do find an empty mineral line, sure, you're still going to find success, but that seems like an unlikely situation the way that this is starting to go. Talon goes down the side, the Forge and the Robo Bay continuing to come up for a moment or two also. Couple barracks coming in, Engineering Bay coming up. Stimpack, Marines, the Marauder continue to come about also. Cyclone locking on. That's going to be an Observer going down. Nice catch from ByuN. Obviously, get rid of some vision. You can get rid of that vision, and you can absolutely do some good stuff for yourself. So yeah, just make it so that Stats can't see around as easily. The less that Stats can see, the better off you should be. And Stats is getting to that Robo Bay. Medevac has ended up dropping the Hellions off. Going to leave them behind for a little bit. Leave them to do their thing for a while. Medevac does then mean it's getting home as we continue into the rest of our bio upgrades. So just getting into the upgrades with those, we can obviously feel much better about getting the bio army kind of out and about on the map. So we're going to get all of that started. As again, Stimpack Combat Shield and +1 will give ByuN some good, well, things to play with here. I imagine he's going to get a little aggressive with this army, and then he's going to take a third base behind it as well. And obviously the third already up from Stats, so it's nice to be able to apply some pressure. You obviously have the option of dropping as well, so there's just a few different ways you can play that out, while also, like I say, getting your third base up so you can put the pressure on while setting up for the future. I'd be shocked if ByuN did this any differently. I mean, he's already got more than 2 base saturation of SCVs, so I can't imagine he's just going to sit on only the 2 bases. Well, Bio all joining up together. We have a couple of Stalkers chilling. We have ourselves the single Colossus there, just going to be sighted as well. Bio's going to stim. We have ourselves the Colossus already finding a way. Tank is going to turn around a little bit as well, just turn onto things. Have a little bit of a peek to see what's up. We'll continue back onto this pylon, and again, just looking for openings, trying to find whatever we can at the moment. Any opening is a good opening, as they say. The Bio is going to jump down. It's going to be seeing our Stalkers taking some damage. You're going to be seeing the Colossi obviously working their way through this. If he can survive without the Zealots doing too much, this is dangerous because Stats is going to have his Colossus exposed. You can see them now kind of getting jumped on a little bit. A few more Stalkers going down. ByuN never really got rid of the Colossi, but he gets rid of everything else. Now chasing, he does get rid of one Colossus still. Going to aim for the second one. The last few units, I'm not sure is going to be enough. He does lose out as he then has to try and pull away. I'm just going to see the rest of this Protoss army coming forward once again. Siege Tank already under fire. A couple of Widow Miners getting knocked down on a follow-up to that as well. Colossi and Stalkers will gather back up for the moment. +2 attack, Prism speed, all coming out. The Forge continues in as well. Fire will actually just stop off and kill off these rocks for a few moments apparently, so we get rid of some rocks. Open up some space on the map, open up different pathways via ground that you can attack through. There's almost always going to be a benefit as well, so we'll continue to work towards that as this Bioforce continues to come through, aiming towards this army one more time. This is the kind of sad part of not knocking down the Colossi. As the gateway units get rebuilt, the Colossi are then very much so still there to be able to really hold on and hold out, right? So definitely a factor. Gonna see our SCV pull is gonna come. We never did build the third base, so this has just been a commitment to 2 bases, and ByuN, well, a little bit of army supply lead, has a few Vikings to help him with the Colossi as well. SCVs are gonna pull through. Bio gonna get up in front. Just going to stem forward, see a couple of Zealots will be going down. Just going to see the Vikings firing, the Colossus taking quite a few shots. There is going to be battery getting picked off as well. Just going to see the Zealots still going down. Vikings fighting, and, well, again, this Bioforce is continuing to battle as we go through the sentries. But, of course, this is so committed from ByuN. The fact he's not going to break through the Colossi is pretty much going to seal the deal, and it means that Stats has held. And, well, the map's coming up a bit deeper in the series. Obviously, Oceanborn alongside Side Delta, some of the older maps to start us off as we get this underway. Stats and ByuN round 2 ready to fight. ByuN down a game, Stats taking the lead. See where we go from there. As we have ourselves this map, I mean, typically is standard, right? I mean, this map really lends itself to playing longer games. Sometimes people sneak out some aggression on it, but typically the longer game is the expectation. It's just standard. You know, it's not the most macro map of all time, but it is just, as standard is the good word for it. It is the gold standard almost. It's a little bit good for TvZ for Terrans, right? Like, some of the pushing positions and expansion patterns can be decent, but generally, in TvP especially, this map is really seen as one that makes it into a lot of best of threes and so on. And Renax and the SCV coming up. Gateway similar to coming around. Again, our probes lining up. As we get things started, we get everything settled. Look to get things underway here early on. And the Nexus drops into place. It's going to be seeing the Cyber Core coming up as well. It's just getting all of that coming through already. And the Orbital Command also coming up. CC's on the way. Reactor coming through. This Marine is just having a little bit of a venture around as well, trying to see what's up. Next is still building. Will also be done fairly shortly. Good to see our Stalker coming up as well. So again, but everything being brought through. Early game looking comfortable. Last game was obviously kind of interesting that ByuN decided to go 2-base commitment because he didn't even do anything with the initial Hellions, right? Which, you know, if you set up to play the Hellion drop initially and you get absolutely nothing off of that, it feels like you've just already made an investment that hasn't gone anywhere. So then how are you ever going to reach full power to just send it when it comes to the next stage of the game? That next stage of the game being the 2-base all-in. Yeah, it was kind of looking back, it was a bit of a weird choice, I guess. All accounts coming up. Again, center coming up. Warp gates coming in. Getting settled here. So obviously ByuN built a triple CC this game, so we're going to see a very different style from him. Couple more barracks coming up, and we're just going to be seeing a couple of probes coming by as well. Blink is going to start again, a couple of gates, a couple of probes continue to come through just for the moment. It's going to have that hallucination continue to head itself to the upper left-hand side of the map. So again, looking to get an eye on things here, looking to see what's going on just for the early stages. Hallucination still taking some shots. Our command center in the main being seen, so that's going to be triple CC confirmed. Stats knows that ByuN is playing that greedier style. Will now put his own third base down. Doesn't look like he wants to go and punish this or anything, so just going to still pressure with the Stalkers a little bit, but yeah, put the third base down. Work from there. That's going to be the plan for the moment. Rings coming through. Stalker will continue to take some shots. Sentry continues to pull back as well. And that is going to be a defense for the moment. The Marines just able to shove that away for the moment. Once that starts to move out onto the map just a little, so it's just going to take a few steps across. Bio is going to come down and meet this. Stalkers, sentries, going to be up on this high ground. They are going to get an instant force fields down, which means the Marauders are going to die. They're just getting caught immediately. Stats with that forward positioning, able to just punish because of it. They're still gathering in the center. And plus one attack, combat shield coming through the factory, and a couple of additional racks are coming by as well. With 30cc, of course, losing a couple Marauders is far from the end of the world. This would have been a lot worse if ByuN was really committed to trying to deal damage. That was obviously just not the case this time. Obviously, ByuN not needing to be aggressive just means he can sit back from this. He's going to hold his own high ground now, stimming forwards. He obviously saw the Stalkers coming through, but they turned around in good time, so that's just a wasted stim as well. Feels like Stats is really winning all of these small microtransactions around the map. Again, they're not the largest of factors, but little things here and there. Factory moves over, Starport still killed on the reactor. There's going to be a couple of medevacs now on the way. Still thermal lance still coming through, the charge is still coming up. So Stalkers making their way out, so again we get gathered in the center. We do have ourselves the charge, the extended thermal lance coming through. The Dark Shrine is coming up as well, so Stats really solidifying his mid-game as well, right? It's not just going to be attacking units and splash damage, but also those harassing options with the DTs. Sets you well up for later as well, once you can get that Shadow Strike going also. Continues to come about. Just going to be seeing this army coming around. Again, seeing our Fire Force continue to gather. Because ByuN, again, just staying defensive. He's playing that more macro setup, so he's just got no need to go rushing into anything. Again, Stats taking advantage of it. Again, taking the time to set up the Dark Shrine, putting the money into a Prism Speed upgrade right now. He's given himself harassing options for deeper into this game. And that, of course, should just bring him success the further into this that we head. Rocks will go down, just going to knock down over there. He's going to have ourselves the Prism loading up. He's going to go on a bit of an adventure. And the main army pushing through the center. If nothing else, just distract from the Prism movements. We do actually have a Marine on the right side catching sight of the Prism. Gets cleaned up, but ByuN is still aware of it. Stats is still threatening that push through the middle. Still looking to take steps forwards in the game. Behind this, a 4th base coming up. So, again, just taking control of this game. Grabbing it and, again, directing it nicely. You see our Colossi shots coming through onto attempted Sensor Tower as ByuN looks to try and track this Protoss movement. Stats says, well, still afraid of this, going to try and step back a little. There is one Colossus that did die, right? I didn't see the death animation of it, but I believe it did go down. There's no Prism nearby to lift it up. As 9 SCVs go down, the Prism does find its way into the main base and immediately starts to get some damage done. Fire coming around, SCV's going to transfer over. So yeah, now a couple of Zealots getting picked off also. We're still sitting here, a couple of Ghosts readying up. So I'm trying to come back down. There's going to be the Viking there, nigh on immediately, so this is going to start putting some damage out. The Prism will get the warp in though, and that means that the Prism may be its final warp in, but there's still a distraction in the main base one more time. Continue back and forth and just seeing our medevac continuing through with this all as well. Just going to be seeing extra gates coming up. Our Prism, our +3 and +3. Sorry, our +3, +2. I didn't realize the +1 armor was only there. Hard to see with the clean feed sometimes the exact colors of the upgrades. +2 and +3 can be a bit similar, can't they? So yeah, +3, +2, Storm. I mean, Stats on an upgrade lead, looking to maintain it, getting even more tech up. I just cannot feel good about ByuN's situation here. It just feels like everything about this for ByuN is really not in a pretty place right now. Just feels like he is not where he needs to be. Not a good time at the moment. Not a good time at the moment. Alright, well. Storm's still coming around. See our Starport coming through, the extra barracks all coming in. gathering together, and we start to press forward a little bit. Storms are going to land everywhere. My goodness, that is one hell of a set of storms from Stats. He is going to deliver something there, that's for sure. Though that's going to be a massive. This is going to be seen now as well, still coming through. We've seen the Bio going to come back over. Vikings are going to continue to go. Massive storm. Stats does get pushed away though. ByuN is going to live through it. So for the moment, I will be backing away. I see a few more Stalkers getting warped in. More storms coming by. The Vikings taking a little bit of the brunt of the damage. Stalkers pulling through. Not much splash damage left though. It's really this gateway force, and ByuN is going to put himself behind the depot wall off. Just try and survive there. Just going to try and live over in the corner. Ourselves the couple more EMPs coming down. Our Stalker's still trying to fight. Just going to be having the extra Zealot showing up as well. Seeing our Stalkers, our Carcon continue to move about. 34 SCVs going down. Well, Bio continue to move about. A few more STVs getting settled. This command center going to move back over towards the 5th base. That means that ByuN is continuing to expand here. This game will continue. Gonna be seeing 3-3 still coming up. The Ghost gonna get there. Observer is gonna get taken down. Gonna be a nice catch as well. EMP goes down. Actually gonna catch a cheeky little EMP. Zealot's still moving up through the center. ByuN. These are trying to cause control in this. These Zealots are going to trade well. Having 3-3 against 2-2 currently just helping. ByuN is 3-3. It's just so close to finishing, but it's just not quite there. It really feels like that is going to have a big problem towards the end of this. We just see our Zealot, Stalker, Templars continue to try and push on through. And that's going to be GG, and Stats going to take a second game. Convincing macro from Stats. Looking good across the board. How about that? Alright, here we go. In the bottom left, it's Stats, and the upper right is ByuN. And Stats looking good in some of the longer games, and this is a big map dynasty. That in-base gold, or that gold natural that's kind of in-base, is a funky one on this. ByuN's just going to go on proxy to start us off, though, so we are going to get that as our starting point here. Okay, Brett, thanks so much for gifting out a sub. Gonna go to Nox Luxy. Thank you very much indeed. Much appreciated. So yeah, ByuN's proxy out into the middle of the map. Gonna get set up there. Thank you so much again for that gift sub, Brett. Good to see you as always. Thanks so much for supporting. We are on the border of 500 subscribers, guys. If you do have a cheeky Prime sub or so waiting to be used, it's always appreciated to consider using it on the channel. Like I say, it always goes a long way. We always appreciate it greatly, so do check that out. As ISCV, after building the barracks, is out across over here, and is going to go have a little bit of an adventure around. Let me see, the Nexus dropping on the natural. We have a factory and our Reaper coming up as well, so we get all of that on the way in. Reaper shows up. I mean, I'm going to actually have a probe that goes down pretty quickly here. The other probe's trying to chase that Reaper and trying to stop it. Let's just see the Reaper going to turn back around, though. 2 probes going down already. Going to get number 3 right there, so that's going to be a grab as well. Thank you very much. Take those. Another bag's going to lift off. Other Reaper going to move back around once again as well. Just for the moment. Now Reaper comes back across again. 3 probes have already gone down, fallen victim to some of the aggression. And barracks here floating back away to the upper right-hand side. It's just going to go across. Again, Twilight Council building stats, so we got to see his tech now coming through as well. We'll have a sentry, so he'll have a little bit of hallucination scouting available to him as well, so stats will be able to keep track of what the next step from ByuN is. It's fair to be scared of a ByuN who is probably feeling as though he's like, well, you know, down 0-2, time to just send anything I can. ByuN becomes quite a volatile player when he's down in the series, so you know he's a kind of player that can do anything anyways, but even more so when his first couple of games has not worked out for him at all. ByuN looking to pick himself up and turn him around in this 0-2 situation, trying to get himself back on track, if at all possible. I'd love to, like I said, just reset a little bit here. And Tech Lab coming through, extra barracks coming up, engineering base still coming around as well. Probe facility, gateway, the blink, again, bit of everything coming up currently on the side of stats. So just getting himself prepped. There is the gold base from ByuN, so he is going to be working with the gold. Something else just to take note of is, again, the robot coming up, blink coming through. We got ourselves settled in here for the early moments. Back +1 attack, all continuing through as well. So again, just getting the good stuff on the side of the Terran player. Once those Terran upgrades are here, you can play obviously a much better game. Up a depot down over on the side. Again, Robo Bay coming up. Against Impact Combat Shield +1, all coming through as well. Continue to bring all of that through. Have ourselves the extra Marines and Marauders coming about as well. Against Impact Combat +1, all coming about. With those upgrades finishing, we'll start to see the game get more interesting, but again, it's just a large map, so it's very likely that this map is not going to exactly come to a conclusion quickly any which way. Stalker's going to get there. Reaper going to get turned around. Just going to see the Reaper getting picked away at. Confused why ByuN is not using the factory more. It's a good question. I mean, maybe he just isn't into that style of play right now. He's just like, mines, tanks, who needs them? A few Stalkers coming around the back, all going to go after a few of those SCVs. Vex load up again, continue to go back down to that bottom right. So again, going to reposition the single Stalker blinking through, going to eat the shots, friendly fire the SCVs, and then it gets rid of the tanks. Unfortunately, bio units are here to respond quickly after. It's going to be going through, 5 SCVs going down. Well, that was not bad at all from Stat to get rid of 2 tanks. You get a bunch of SCVs. It does cost you some Stalkers, though. Now our Bioforce is going to sit here. It's going to be able to get a Colossus out of defense. It's funny the ways in which the players come up with methods to defend against kind of the aggression on this goal base, right? It's funny how it's like, hey, 1 Colossus here actually just stops it because nothing can reach properly. And then on the Terran side, it's funny how just powerful 1 tank can be in that position as well. Fire comes over, a few probes getting picked away at already. Fire coming across, it's going to be seeing the Colossi coming through. The Stalkers are going to be here as well. We've seen a few more probes going down again, a bit more damage being dealt. We've seen the bio still coming through again, picking away another pylon. We do have the Colossus and the Stalkers coming up, trying to chase down this bio army as best as it can. So you're going to get a turnaround. We're going to pick up that Colossus Stats, taking damage, losing Colossi, losing positioning in this game a little bit. It's actually starting to look a little bit like, let's be honest, time. Maybe to get a map in this series. Looking good right now. Lots of army supply available, and that's something which Stats has to try and overcome at some stage here. Well, Stats is going to try and stabilize. I mean, like I say, a big map, so maybe there's some possibility of stabilizing, but I wouldn't say it's looking great, especially as just a few Stalkers here are not going to hold off this Bioforce. That's the Stalkers, Colossi coming over, Sentry's just going to keep coming about as well. Going to come through, the Bioforce is coming on 2 different sides, the Colossi going down, the Sentry and the Stalkers dropping. ByuN is going to get himself a map, and this series will not come to a close just yet. That in-base natural, having the blue gold minerals, being a fun one to see. TvP coming about, we get this on the go. SCV, Depot, Probe, Pylon, bit of everything coming through for the moment. Got it up and running. So we'll finish up on the high ground as we wait for the initial structures. No SCV on the maps, no proxy action. Obviously ByuN open with that early Reaper last time around as well. A way to mix it up and do things just that little bit differently, if nothing else. That was already step 1 of ByuN, like I say, mixing it up a bit. And gas and Iraq's coming through, the SCV still producing on in. Iraq just continues through, SCVs are still producing. Does WardiTV and Comeback TV happen at the same time? Yeah, there'll be a bit of overlap. We probably missed the first couple series of Comeback TV. We're not going to have the finals of the WardiTV Invitational today because multiple different players have multiple different problems of playing that late. For example, if Max Pax gets there, he's got Comeback TV Invitational. If Spirit gets there, he has something else going on. So we probably don't play the finals. If Milky Cat gets there, maybe we do play the finals. But we, that's obviously unlikely. So, yeah, it's gonna be a long day. But we're probably not gonna do the full WardiTV Invitational. But whenever we finish WardiTV Invitational, we'll go straight into Comeback TV Invitational. So we're just gonna go, and do loads of StarCraft. Long day. Hopefully a good one. Enjoy some games. That's what today's about. That's what we're aiming for. Heckin' exciting. Just like yesterday, we had a good long day yesterday too. Ready for like 8 to 10 hours? Yeah, yesterday was 10 hours and we didn't even do the final series. Yesterday was 10 hours, we didn't even do the TvT between Clem and Gabe. I just When it was TV, it was TvP I would have fought through, but man, I was at the point where my brain was just sluggish, brain dead. Gone are the days where the Wardy 17-hour streams happen, full of life, full of energy. I don't know. Yesterday was kind of a slow day as well, though. You know, it was quite literally we just sat here and casted 10 hours of StarCraft. That was just the way it went. Young Wardy energy. Yeah. Man, I used to do loads of like 15, 16, 17-hour streams. We'd like wake up early, start casting like a very early starting Korean or Asian-based event. We'd have something else through the middle of the day into like a European tournament, maybe a little bit of NA in the evening. Used to be doing not all the time, but like it wasn't uncommon to have 2 or 3 of those in a month. That's so unhealthy. Well, yeah, probably. I just really wanted to make it, you know? You don't really get a choice when you're trying to be a big, big-time streamer. You gotta earn the viewers somehow. I didn't have the charisma, I didn't have the looks. I just had to do it through grinding out the hard work. I had to get people to be like, that man Wardy, you know what? He's consistent. He does a lot. That was my buff that set me out ahead of everyone else. You know? I'm truly meta post-youth. Oh yeah. Apparently so. I think I've made it. Was it worth all the effort? Yeah, absolutely. Crazy. I got to become one of the top StarCraft commentators. I've been hired for nigh on every event since 2020. My stream is incredibly successful. Like, yeah, I'm not the biggest streamer in the world, but I make enough to lead a very comfortable life. We still get to support awesome StarCraft tournaments. Consistency is underrated. Consistency is like the biggest thing you can do on Twitch. If you're consistent on Twitch, it's like, I went away for like 3 weeks, and when I come back for the first week and a half, 2 weeks back, my viewership is like a third of what it was before, Like, even doing the same events, similar players, the viewership is just not there. Consistency is such a big deal. On Twitch especially, but probably in most things in life, consistency means so much. Wardy made it so big I can afford a cool dog. Yeah. A cool dog. What mind drop comes in here. Keeping an eye on this. You see that medevac going down, so that will get picked up. Now the super battery activating as ByuN has got a bit of a push going over here, guys. This game is actually heating up a little bit, so maybe let's turn it back to the action because Widow Mines are still active in hunting probes. Lots of lost mining time for stats. Missing out on a lot of opportunities so far. Widow Mines gonna try and retarget. Love the retarget onto the sentry because that's a guaranteed kill. It can't get away like the stalkers can blink. So that's a good retarget there from ByuN to get a final little something out of that Widow Mine drop. I'd say this is a very successful time, right? This is a very good setup, very good opener. Nicely done, nicely handled. Stalkers moving up. Couple Marines and Marauders going to hold their own up on the high ground, so just going to be able to hold position there and do well for a little bit as we have ourselves the stemming back combat shield and +1 still coming through again. Rax pumping away the bio units. Like ByuN's first push. Trying to see where he goes from here though. Trying to see if he can continue to follow through. Still joining together. Stalkers will come through, get a couple shots off as well. The medevacs will come around the bottom side. Just going to drop in. A few probes already taking some damage. We actually have just a massive denial on the upgrade, so that's 1-1. Not denied. Well, actually, +1's going to get denied, but slowed down obviously in a big way. The 2 medevacs load up, going to go elsewhere. Fire just going to load up and we back away once more. And again, just ByuN doing what ByuN does best, which is being annoying with drops, just being everywhere on the map and just trying to be an absolute frustration to his opponent. So away we go. Rest of the ByuN coming across, going to join back up into the center. We do have ourselves another Forge dropping down. The +1 armor is already well on the way. I didn't realize all those gateways were depowered as well, so a lot of stats as infrastructure falling apart here as ByuN's harassment hits and hits hard. So ByuN definitely finding a good bit of success with this. Rest of the ByuN continue to come about. ByuN just going to be trying to trade here, as we are going to see coming from two angles. Makes it very easy to minimize the Colossus splash damage taken, and that goes a long way to helping, as we are going to see both the Colossus being overrun. We are going to see ByuN taking game 4, and ByuN keeps his hopes alive in this Korean Qualifier, as he will not fall the stats yet. And we do have ByuN, our Red Terran player here, getting into game number 5. Taking on Stats, our Blue Protoss. Can he find what he had in the first couple of games to keep himself alive in this lower bracket? Winner of this plays Hero tomorrow. As we continue the lower bracket action, Maru and Gumiho in the upper bracket. They are already confirmed to participate in the offline tournament. And May 18th and May 19th is the dates for the offline portion of this. That probe comes around, moves about. We're going to be seeing the proxy already in place from ByuN here to the right-hand side. And looking to be aggro here on Ghost River from the very get-go. This probe is looking, though. Is he going to go all the way down there? No. ByuN picking the right spot, going where Stats does not hunt. That's a great catch from ByuN, figuring out where his opponent might be scouting and where he might not be. Reaper starts up, the orbital coming through. We have ourselves the Reaper still coming about a little bit as well. Factory starts, again, orbital coming through. We get ourselves the depot coming about, this Reaper building on the barracks. You get set up, we get running, get started to begin with. We see a Reaper dancing, looking for some damage then, hoping to succeed. Not doing too well just yet. Because the shell's coming up. Let's see now. Starport coming through. Getting that on the go. Stalker continue to come about as well. Again, because the shells, Hellion, everything continues to come through right now. We continue to get this all on the way. Let's just have ourselves everything continue to come about. Again, the Twilight Council coming through, the couple of probes and the Stalker on the way out. And a little bit of everything. Ready to rumble. The Marauder Hellion opening, potential for obviously a pretty deadly attack, right? This is pretty committed from ByuN, definitely want to try and get some damage done. That Starport being proxied as well. He absolutely wants to send this through to be more than just that initial Reaper play. He wants to get something extra out of this. So here we go, the Marauders are going to start coming by. It's going to jump into the main base, could depower the gateway. Cybercore Warp Gate is actually just going to complete, my goodness. That pylon was so close to being disastrous. If that had gone down, no warp gate for a little bit, well, I mean, you're still going to lose power to the gateway here, so you can't warp in off of that for a little while still. Fighting, couple Stalkers getting knocked down here. Just going to be seeing the Hellions running by at the same time. This is the dangerous part when these Hellions can help the Marauders out against the probes. Just knock the HP off those probes, finish off some of the lower health ones as well. A Viking landing too. Talk about ways to just deal damage. The Hellion hitting the pylon for a second. Needs to sort that out, because every bit of damage counts here as ByuN goes for 13 workers killed. Now this is all off of one base from ByuN, as he's now on his way to Stimpak off this proxied barrack, so he is not done yet. He is sending this as hard as he possibly can right now. He is committing to the best of his ability. So we have got the attempt to come back forwards here. Going to use that medevac for high ground vision for a little bit. How much are we going to commit to this? What is the plan? Hitting the Cybercore. He's now on his way to Cloak as well. I love this because obviously Banshees and Cloak is something you aren't really necessarily set up to deal with when you've been dealing with this under pressure. The last thing you're thinking of is, hey crap, I need to get detection. And so ByuN's harassment acting as just a distraction in itself is a pretty big dub. As ByuN continues to come through. There is that Cloaking coming up from the Banshee. We are going to see the couple of gateways still getting ready. Manson starts on the natural. Stalkers gathering together. Might as well fight. Just going to be seeing a couple of Zealots going down. Seeing again with the stim about to be finished. This is just about to get even more powerful here. Oh, Stalkers do see the cloaking, so a little bit of a heads up, although first Banshee already arriving, and obviously the, as you saw, the Stalkers are a little bit preoccupied at the moment. So yeah. Oh, Cloak's not ready though, so that Banshee maybe went a little bit too soon. Gonna maybe pull the trigger a little bit too early. We do have a Robo, and we should be able to get observers out now and prepare for the Cloak Banshees. So maybe it wasn't a bad idea to go in with the Banshee, but obviously only getting 3 workers is a little bit of a feels bad. Kind of expected that commitment to end up doing a whole bunch more than what it did. Stalkers now going to find their way to the production lines. The production lines will take some damage. Starport already taking some shots. We're going to see the Banshee Cloaks immediately. It's going to move in towards the main, but there's only one Banshee, so now this battery alone will be a part of the defense. Stalkers will finish up on the starport, and well, Hellions are now going for a few more probes again and again. Hellions are going to succeed. Going to do very well for themselves as 6 workers go down. A bit more damage, but is it enough? Prism still coming up. Charge is still on the way. It's going to be seen again at Prism. Charge continue to get settled. Combat shield coming through, tank, a couple more Marauders. Again, just getting ourselves everything we can. ByuN has got a natural finally, so he did finally get a base up. Stats is actually only 3 workers ahead, so considering double mule, ByuN's position is actually not so bad. He did enough. He kept this harassment going long enough, and now he's got a tank up. He got stim finished, remember. So actually, he honestly looks pretty darn okay in that regard. Tank's still coming around. Gonna have ourselves the combat shield. The siege tank continue to produce through. We do have another scan just to help get rid of an obs just spying on whatever is going down. Let's just get rid of that. Comes the army. Stalker's going to go blinking through. Tank's going to fire away. The Immortal will get in range of the tank. The Zealots mean the bunker does not last too long. Does ByuN actually have enough firepower here to just survive through this? That Immortal really could have gotten rid of the other siege tank. Missing out on that opportunity, I feel like, is a big one. The Zealot warping though is going to be big. Man, that siege tank is putting in work. The Stalkers go down. Stats will have Zealots to try and save the day, but Zealots only have so much microing potential. They're going to run into this mineral line now. The Marauders are trying to survive. They're medevac healing what they can. SCVs are dropping. ByuN looks as though he does not quite have enough to hold on. That siege tank is not going to last long. More Zealots. ByuN has no good answer to the Zealot warpins, and it looks as though Stats will close this series out. Despite the chaos, despite everything that went down, it is good enough. Stats 3, ByuN 2, wrapping up our first tournament of the